Welcome everyone, Flexible Friday, ready for a deep stretch. Let's go ahead and find our space. If we're using a mat or another space today, make sure we listen to our bodies, keep some water nearby, and do your workout what feels good. If you need anything modified, just give me a holler and let me know. All right, once we've found our space, we're actually just gonna start walking our space, and nice and slow, we can kind of sway our arms forward and backward. Just a gentle pace, walking our space of our mat or carpet or whatever else we could be using today. And let's go ahead and start to walk on our toes. Mixing it up a little bit. And we'll switch to walking on our heels. Can still be swaying those arms if we like. We can take them up in the air and down by our hips. Go ahead and walk. Try to walk on the outside of your foot. And now the insides of your feet. Starting to take those big breaths in through our nose, out through our mouth. And we can go ahead and come back to flat-footed, and we can find that neutral standing position, feet under hips, toes facing forward. And we'll go ahead with some shoulder rolls. So staying in that standing position, we're just gently going to raise our shoulders to the ceiling, push them forward, pull them down, pull them back, and around. Just a gentle shoulder roll. Arms can be down by your sides, or you can bend your arms at 90 degrees if that's a little easier to roll. Just alternating between that shrugging of the shoulders and depressing. And let's switch direction of those shoulder rolls. Now shrugging them up, taking them backwards, down and forward. Just really making as big of a circle as we can with just the shoulders. Feeling all that musculature in your neck and your back and your arms that move that shoulder around. And we can go ahead and pause those shoulder rolls coming back in the middle. And we're going to do some gate opening stretches. We'll start on the right side. We're going to drive the right knee up towards our chest and then take that knee outside of the hip to the right. We can put the foot back down, and then we'll repeat on the left side, driving the knee up, taking it out to the side and placing it back down. So opening the gate, left and right. Just kind of moving those hips around. They are a ball and socket joint, just like the shoulders. And let's switch direction, now closing the gate. So we'll reverse the movement, starting by driving our knee up to the outside of our hip and then pulling it in towards the front of our hip and then placing it down. So reversing, closing the gate. And hands can be on your hips, on your belly, or on an exterior support source. Couple more here. And let's go ahead and pause those gate closes, coming back to standing. And we're going to take a nice wide stance, feet outside of our hips about 2 steps width. We're going to do some of our windmill toe touches. So once we have that wide stance, we're going to take our arms out to the sides from our shoulders in a print letter T. We're going to hinge at the waist. Exhale as we reach right hand towards the left foot. Then we'll rise back up to center, and then we'll switch, reaching left hand towards right foot and back to center. So just alternating windmill toe touch. Doing some temporaries exercises before we stretch. I like to think of it like when you work with clay, you have to warm it up a little bit before you can really manipulate it the way you want it. Make sure we're breathing. Take that inhale as you're standing. Exhale as you're reaching. Just a couple more here. And last one, go ahead and come back to standing. You can step your feet back underneath your hips. And we're going to do some nice slow glute kicks. So from that neutral standing position, I'm going to place my hands on my hips. And then I'll start by kicking my right heel towards my right glutes, bending at the knee, placing that foot back down, and repeating on the left side, kicking heels towards glutes. Just alternating nice and slow. Kind of warming up those hamstrings and quadriceps. And you can speed it up just a little bit. And let's go ahead and pause those glute kicks, bringing both feet back to standing. And we're going to do our sun salutations. We'll just do 3 of them today. Starting from our neutral standing position, we'll go ahead and inhale, taking our arms out to the sides, reaching them up overhead. Taking a big inhale up here, we're going to exhale, forward fold, reaching our hands down towards our feet or towards the floor. We're going to inhale for a half lift, taking our hands to our shins and flattening our backs out. Exhale, folding, forward fold all the way down once again. And inhale, arms out to the sides, overhead, reaching, palms come together and they lower in front of your face, ending on your chest. And we'll repeat. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, all the way up. Reach, reach, reach. Palms together. Exhale and lower. Last one here. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Reaching a little further than last time. Inhale, hands to shins. Half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, all the way, reaching as high as we can towards the ceiling. And palms together. Exhale as we lower them in front of our face to our chest. Beautiful. We're going to stay standing for just a little bit longer here. We'll start with a side lunge stretch. So from our neutral standing position, I'm going to have you step your right foot out to the right about 2 to 3 steps. So you're in that wide stance. And then we're going to take a bend in the right knee and slowly shift our weight over into the right leg until that knee starts to bend a little further. And then the left leg will stay straight. You can rest your elbow on your right thigh if that feels good, or use an external support source to kind of just sink over into that right hip, stretching the inside of the left leg. We'll take just a couple breaths here. And then we'll go ahead and stay in this lowered position. And then we're just going to shift our weight over now into that left leg, bending the left knee, straightening the right leg out. It's very similar to our Cossack rock stretch, but we're being a little more static with it. Stretching the inner thigh muscles, the adductors.
You've lost me. What are we doing?
Just a side lunge stretch. So
okay,
nice,
got it. I was making it harder than it was.
No problem. Take one more breath here in that right side. We'll go ahead and come back up to the center. We're going to keep this nice wide stance that we have though. And we're just going to reach our arms down for a forward fold, wide forward fold. Staying in the center with our arms. And I want you to just let your head and arms and shoulders just hang. Just let gravity pull them. And if you want to take your hands to either elbow and just kind of rock and sway side to side, feel free. Remember to breathe. Just relax. On your next breath, you can go ahead and rise yourself back up. We're going to step our feet back together so we're in that neutral standing position. And we're going to do one more forward fold set here, but not wide stance anymore. So just feet under hips, toes forward. We're going to take a big inhale, and then we'll exhale, reaching fingertips down towards the floor for that forward fold. And then we'll either take our right hand to our shin, or if you're super flexible, it'll probably be on the floor. And we're going to reach our left hand. We're going to twist our shoulders and nose to the left, and our left hand's going to go overhead, fingertips to the ceiling, while our right hand stays planted low. I've added some gentle rotations to a few exercises today because rotation is good for us. We can go ahead and take a breath, bring that left arm back down, and then we'll switch it out. Left hand will stay planted on left leg or the floor. Right hand will reach up towards the ceiling, shoulders and nose turn to the right. Just take a couple deep breaths. And go ahead and exhale. Bring yourself back to center, forward fold, and then we'll rise up to standing. From here, we're going to do some side bend and reaching. So we'll start by raising our right, from this neutral standing position, our right arm, we'll raise it up overhead from the shoulder. I'm going to place my left hand on my left hip, and I'm going to gently push my hips over to the right as I reach my arm overhead to the left. Stretching out that entire kind of right side of the back. We're just being gentle with everything here. We're not forcing the stretch. We're just feeling the stretch. Really seeing how far we can reach and keep our chest forward. Go ahead and take a big inhale, come back to center. We'll place our right hand on right hip. Left arm raises up overhead from left shoulder, gently guiding the hips to the left as we reach arm overhead to the right. Take some deep breaths. And make sure you're feeling your pelvis. Try to tuck your pelvis and see if that changes your stretch. And go ahead and take an inhale. Come back to center. You can bring your arm down. We're going to transition down to the mat with a down dog. And if a down dog isn't a good stretch for us, feel free to rock into a puppy pose or a child's pose. You'll just lower the knees, keep the hips up for puppy, or child's pose, you'll be all the way seated back on your hips or on your heels. If you're doing a down dog with me, go ahead and take your hands to the floor, and we'll slowly walk our feet away from our hands until we've come to almost a high plank. Then we'll push our hips up towards the ceiling. And we can just pedal those heels one at a time. Bending one knee, straightening the other. Taking just a couple breaths here. And we'll go ahead and step the right foot up, almost between the hands, might be a little behind the hands. And then we'll drop the back knee or left knee down to the mat. So now we're in that deep lunge position. Many options for our hands here. They might be down on the mat. They might be resting on our right thigh, or they might be resting on an exterior support source. Do what feels good for you. We're stretching the front of that left hip, and we're just trying to sink our hips forward into that right leg and down into the floor. And let's just take some breaths. Seeing if with every exhale we can release that hip a little bit more, or those hip flexors that are chronically tightened as we've become a seated society. Good, just a couple more breaths as we release. And on your next breath, we can go ahead and bring that right knee back underneath the hips to meet the left. So now we're in a tabletop. And then we can switch it out, stepping left foot forward between the hands or behind the hands. Right knee stays planted behind us. And then once again, going for that deep lunge stretch, kind of sinking our hips down into the floor and forward slightly into the left leg. So now we're feeling that stretch on the front of our right hips. Hip. And just breathe. Try to release those tense muscles with every exhale. And on your next breath, you can bring the left knee back underneath the hips. And now we're in that tabletop, but let's go ahead and raise our hands off of the mat. So now we're just in a kneeling position. We'll place our hands on our hips, and we're just going to stir the pot from a kneeling position here. So we'll start by gently pushing our hips forward, and then we're going to slowly push them around to the left, back behind us, and to the right. So we're just drawing a great big circle counterclockwise with our hips. I do recommend, if you'd like to stand up for this one, if it's a lot of pressure on your knees, feel free, or place a towel or pillow under your knees. Just seeing how big we can make that circle while keeping our knees planted. And with every rotation, let's make them just a little bit smaller. And let's switch the direction of our stir, taking it clockwise now. Really emphasizing pushing the hips forward into the side and behind us. And we're making those circles as big as we can again, since we've switched directions. And let's go ahead and come back to center in that kneeling position. We'll lower our hands back down to the mat, and we'll widen our knees out to either the sides of our mat or just outside of our hips. And let's walk our hands away from our body until we feel like they can't go any further. And then we'll slowly sink our hips back towards our heels for a child's pose stretch. We'll just take some breaths here, really feeling the distance we've created, the space we've created between fingertips and our hips. An option to stay here just in that standard child's pose, or we can thread the needle. So we'll keep our left arm extended and reaching. We'll take our right hand and we'll thread it between our left elbow and left knee, and we'll reach it as far to the left as we can. Really feeling a nice stretch and opening in that right shoulder and the hips. Again, just adding those little rotations today. Good. Continue to take those breaths. And if our hips start to fatigue, you can always raise them up into the air for a little relief. let's go ahead and bring that right hand back and reach it back out away from us. Standard child's pose. And we'll switch out our needle, taking the left hand and threading it between right elbow and right knee and reaching it as far to the right as we can. Take some deep breaths. Try to release. Get a little deeper in the stretch with every exhale. Good. And let's bring that left hand back in. Reach it back out away from us. One last couple breaths here in child's pose. And let's go ahead and raise our hips back up. Walk our hands closer to us. So we're back in that tabletop position where our wrists, elbows, and shoulders are stacked. Our knees are under our hips and our feet are trailing behind the knees. We're going to do some cat-cow stretches. So we'll start remembering to keep our breath tied in. We're going to start by inhaling and arching our back, tilting our hips up to the ceiling and our nose. Kind of letting our shoulders drop down. And we're going to exhale, turn our nose towards the mat, round our back, push our hips forward. We'll go back into cat-cow. Inhaling, arching the back. And cat. We're taking these nice and slow, alternating. Remembering when we're in cat, we're really pushing away from our shoulders. And we'll go ahead and come back to neutral or center. We'll stay in this tabletop position, but we're going to stretch our calves out a little bit. So we'll take our right leg and extend it behind us, toes down in the mat. And we'll actually kind of cross it over behind the left leg. So right leg is extended long behind us. And then we're just going to cross it behind the left leg. And we're going to push our heel back behind us. So now we're getting a little calf stretch in the right leg and a little bit of stretch in our glutes in our left leg. And you can add a gentle rock if you'd like. So kind of pulling the heel back towards you and pushing it away. It's funny that you can do some stretches, and then if you just tweak one little thing, you'll feel a totally different sensation. A couple more breaths. And let's go ahead and bring that right knee back underneath the hips. And we'll extend our left leg back behind us, really pushing that heel towards the wall. And then we will cross it behind the right leg and push that heel away. Feel free to add that rock if you'd like. Nice calf and glutes stretch. Couple more breaths. And let's go ahead and bring that left knee back underneath the hips. And we'll make our way down to a lying position. We'll actually stay prone, so we'll just lower ourselves down onto our bellies. So lying fully flat on our bellies. You can create a little pillow with your hands if you'd like, stacking right over left or left over right, and you can just rest your forehead on your hands. We're going to kick or bend at both of the knees, taking the bottoms of the feet flat to the ceiling. And we're doing a reverse windshield, so we're just going to gently drop both feet over to the right. We want to keep our hips grounded, so we don't want to do too much twisting. So if your feet don't reach all the way to the floor, that is okay. Mine do not. So keep your hips planted and just gently tilt your feet over to the right and to the left. Good, and we're going to transition into a quad stretch. So if you have a yoga strap, go ahead and grab it. We're going to keep our right foot up where it's at. We'll go ahead and drop the left one back down so the left leg is straightened and resting on the floor. We are going to take the right heels now as close to the right glutes as we can, and we'll either reach around with our right hand or a yoga belt, and we'll just pull that right heel as close to our glutes as we can, stretching out the quadriceps. Just try to relax here, take those breaths, release any guarding your body is doing right now. And on your next breath, go ahead and release that right ankle, and we'll let that right leg fall flat to the floor and relax. And then we'll kick the left heel up towards the left glutes, reaching around and manipulating with the left hand or the yoga belt. Just getting those, or that heel as close to the glutes as you can. As long as you have a comfortable stretch in the front of the left leg, that is what matters. We're not forcing anything. Taking some deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Feeling that muscle just relax. Remember, it takes that 30 seconds for the stretch reflex to kick in. The Golgi tendon organs release. And on your next breath, feel free to release that left foot back down. We're going to go for our half frog stretch on the right side. So from this lying position, our legs are both relaxed. We're going to gently drag the right knee out to the side of our right hip, pulling it up as far as we can. So the leg is still on the floor. The hips are just a little elevated, but the left hip is grounded. And our left knee is just lined up with our right hip out to the side. Our leg is about a 90-degree angle. We can still rest our forehead on our hands if we'd like. Taking those deep breaths, feeling ourselves, our bodies kind of rise off of the mat every time we inhale. You're filling your lungs with air, and then you lower as you exhale. On your next breath, you can push that right leg back down. Both legs are extended and relaxed. Let's shake out our hips, just wagging them left to right. And we will switch sides. Now taking the left knee, gently dragging it up on the side to the outside of our left hip. We're still as flat as possible to the floor. Just feeling yourself melt. Opening up that left hip. On your next breath, go ahead and push that left foot back down. And we'll roll onto our backs. And let's get fully flat here on our backs. And we'll just relax for a second. Take a couple deep breaths. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and bring the right knee up towards our chest, and we'll meet it with our arms to give it a big hug. And we'll go ahead and mess with the ankle a little bit. We'll point our toes and pull them towards our shin as we're hugging the right knee into the chest. Wanting to keep our left hip planted into the floor. And let's wag our ankle right to left. And let's go ahead and take our hands to the back of the right thigh. We're still kind of hugging the knee into the chest, or option to grab your yoga belt and wrap it around the bottom of your foot. We're going to extend our legs, straightening our leg out, and now the bottom of our foot is parallel to the ceiling. Still keeping that left hip as grounded as possible. If that's really uncomfortable, go ahead and bend your left leg, taking left knee to the ceiling, left foot flat, and that'll allow you to keep that right leg pretty straight and get a good stretch. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Seeing if with every exhale you can try to pull that leg a little closer to your torso, but not forcing it. And let's go ahead and drop that right leg down. Let it rest flat on the mat. And we'll give the left leg some love. We'll drive the left knee up towards our chest, meet it with our arms, and hug it in close. Starting to let the ankle do some work. So we'll point the toes, pull the toes. And let's go ahead and wag the ankle left to right. Just feeling the way our ankle moves. It's an interesting joint. It's not a ball and socket, but you would think it to be. Let's go ahead and take our hands to the back of that left thigh, or grab our yoga strap and wrap it around the bottom of our foot. We're going to straighten our left leg out. Bottom of our left foot is parallel to the ceiling. Just really stretching the entire back of the left leg. Seeing if with every exhale we can keep the leg as straight as possible and pull it just a little closer to our torso. If you're really tight like me today, where we're at is where we're at. And let's go ahead and release that left leg down. We can shake it out, shake out our hips left to right. And let's bring both knees up into our chest and give them a hug. So we've just become a ball. And let's just massage out our lower back. So we'll just gently rock left to right. And let's rock up and down. And let's draw circles clockwise and counterclockwise. Let's go ahead and release both those legs. We'll let our feet go flat on the mat, knees up to the ceiling. Setting up for our figure 4 stretch. We'll go ahead and take our right leg, extend it up to the ceiling, and then we'll gently take the right ankle to the top of the left thigh or left knee. We'll let our right knee gently fall out to the side. Option to stay here if this stretch feels good, kind of in that right hip area, or you can take your hands along the back of your left thigh, interlace the fingers and pull the left knee towards your face, deepening the stretch. Just take some deep breaths here. And let's go ahead and place that right foot back down to meet the left. And we'll switch it out, figure 4 on the left side, straightening the left leg up and then gently dropping left ankle to the top of the right knee or right thigh. Left knee falls out to the side. Figure 4, stretching the outer hip. And option to deepen the stretch, interlacing those fingers behind the right thigh and pulling right knee in towards your chest. Deep breaths here. And let's go ahead and release that figure 4 stretch. And bring the left foot back to meet the right. And we'll actually bring the bottoms, we'll stay in this lying position. We'll bring the bottoms of our feet together and we'll let both knees drop out to the sides for this reclined or lying butterfly stretch. I like to place my hands on my belly and just feel my breathing. Just a couple more breaths here. And on your next breath, you can bring your knees back together and we'll gently roll ourselves up to a seated position. And we're going to be doing some neck and wrist and shoulder stretches. So just find a comfortable way to sit for you. That could be still in butterfly with the bottoms of your feet together, knees out to the sides. It could be crisscross. You could have your legs extended out in front of you, just whatever feels good. We'll start with those neck stretches. Let's make sure we're in good postural seated positions. We're going to roll our shoulders back and down. We're going to make our chest proud. Kind of tuck our chin back. So imagining you have a headrest behind you. And we're gently going to take our right ear down towards our right shoulder. You can use your hands if you'd like to just gently kind of cradle your head. Right hand on your head. And then if you want to take your left hand to the top of your left shoulder to kind of push that shoulder down, feel free. Just gentle ways to manipulate your stretch. Let's take a few deep breaths in through our nose, out through your mouth. You can add a gentle nod of your head if you'd like. Taking the crown of our head backwards, and then chin to your chest. Really feeling that stretch along the left side of your neck and your upper shoulders, the trapezius muscle. It's another one of my favorite muscle names. And let's go ahead and release those hands, bring our head back to center, and we'll reset our posture if we need to. Then we'll gently take left ear towards left shoulder, staying there or using your hands as some external guidance. We'll take left hand on our head, just gently pushing it away or pulling it away, and then right hand to right shoulder, pushing that shoulder down. Option to add that gentle nodding of the head if you'd like. Let's go ahead and release those hands. Bring our head back to center, and we'll just do some head circles. So we'll start by taking our chin down towards our chest. Then we'll roll our head over to the right. We'll roll it back behind us to the left. So just drawing that big circle with our head. Feels so good to loosen up those neck and shoulder muscles that we tend to forget about sometimes. And let's go ahead and switch directions with those head rolls. Now taking them to the left. And we'll go ahead and come back to center with our head. We'll stretch out our right wrists. So we'll just take our right hand out in front of us from the shoulder. We'll go palm down to the floor. And we're going to take our left hand and just gently grabbing our right fingertips, we're going to pull them gently towards ourselves. Taking just a couple breaths here. And keeping our palm down, we'll go ahead and release the fingertips, palms down, and then we're going to fold palm towards us. Again, we can use that left hand to just kind of gently guide it a little further if we'd like. We can go ahead and release those hands, release those arms. If we want to wiggle the fingers, draw some wrist circles, we'll switch sides. So we'll reach our left arm out in front of us, palm facing down. Taking our right hands, we'll grab the fingertips, left fingertips, and gently guide them towards ourselves. And let's go ahead and release those fingertips and let the wrist fold. So now our palm is towards us, fingertips towards the floor. And you can go ahead and release that arm and wrist. And our last stretch here, we'll take our hands behind our back, interlacing our fingers for a chest opener stretch. We will pull the hands back, open the shoulders up, take our chest gently towards the ceiling and our nose towards the ceiling. Just take a couple breaths here. And go ahead and release that when you're ready. Last but not least, give yourselves a pat on the back. I hope you all had a great week. I hope this was a good end to your week, a nice stretch. See y'all later.